Hi, Darren Hall here from bet72.com. Just a little video for you today regarding the subject of casino wagering and bonuses, and a couple of little strategies, just looking for how we might play particular casino bonuses in reference to a question from one of our Odds Matcher Pro members, Dave, who was just asking for any tactics or suggestions where particularly we have higher wagering requirements of sort of 25 times the bonus plus. So certainly something that we've been quite successful with before, and I'll just give you a couple of little pointers really. Not really liking it to any particular offers that are out there at the moment, but certainly there's a number of these which do crop up, and it's just really a case of looking to see what the value is within the actual offer, and also the terms and conditions that are actually there as well, because that's key to whether you're actually going to make an expected profit or whether there's actually any expected value within the actual offer itself. So I think the first thing to say is you need to identify if the offer itself has got any value within it, and the way to do that is a very simple calculation. All we do is we take the wagering requirement of a particular offer. So very simply, for an example here, we'll say there's £1,000 wagering requirement, and if we're looking for slots, for example, because most offers now will prohibit the use of the standard games that we used to use, such as blackjack and roulette. I mean, if you do find ones that will actually allow you to play those, and there are still odd ones about, then they really are worth jumping on. But if we're talking about slots, then as a rough rule of thumb, we assume a house edge or a house advantage of 5%. So basically that means for every £100 that we wager on slots, we would expect to lose £5. Now that doesn't take into account the fact there's going to be variance within the game itself, and the gameplay is not going to be exactly the same on every particular spin, so it's not always going to be, well, it will never be exactly that amount, but we have to have a rule of thumb to give us an idea of if the offer is profitable. So very simply, all we would do, if we just hop over to a calculator here, so we've got £1,000 to wager, and we would take that at 5%, so that's going to give us an expected value of £50 after we've wagered £1,000 over. So if they're offering us a bonus of over £50, then we consider it to be a positive expected value or an offer worth considering. If it's below that, then probably don't really want to get involved, because we're not actually looking at much chance of a profit within there. Now, not to say that it couldn't be a profit, because again we get the variance which you just mentioned earlier, and some spins will hit big wins. You could go on long losing runs, so you've got to be mindful of that. But generally, that's the first port of call. Also, we've got to look at the fact that in order to wager that 1,000, and thousands being quite low there, like I say, typically we could be looking at 25 times, which on a £100 deposit would be £2,500, for example. We've got to value our time as well, so the time it takes in order to wager the particular offer as well, and you've got to put some sort of value on your time, if you like, a cost per hour, but it's going to take you to do. There's no point spending 10 hours on an offer only to find that you're just literally breaking even, because you're effectively losing because you've wasted possibly a whole day or a cumulative effect of a whole day just trying to wager a particular offer over that probably wasn't very profitable in the first place. So what we need to look at really is the overall value of the offer. So if it's something there that you quite fancy or you think is quite a good way to get involved, then we need to look at more of the nitty-gritty of the offers. I'm not going to talk about anyone in particular at the moment, but just a couple of things to sort of look out for really. The first one is the basic terms of the offer, naturally the standard terms and conditions, what you can make your deposit with, can you use e-wallets, for example, as opposed to just normal debit cards or bank transfers. Also, you need to look at the any restrictions on the particular offers and that sort of thing. But if we're liking it more to slots offers, then the other area which which I would look at is what you need to do in order to qualify for the bonus, obviously. Now, some of them will just be a straight deposit, so you deposit your money, you get your bonus, you pay with it, in which case you've then got to look at whether the bonus actually gets locked, or the account, the money in the account gets locked, whether that actual company uses your funds first or plays with the bonus money first. There is an opportunity on some wallets where it's shared between, say, a sports book and the casino, that you can actually put the deposit, say, make a bet with a deposit, so that then the money is moved out of your account for the duration of the time that you're actually playing the offer. And as long as you complete the offer before the wagering, before the bet settles back into your account, then you've deemed to have actually played the offer. Sort of a little bit of a loophole there, if you like, but that can, if people want more information on that, drop me a line at info@bet72.com. I can give you a couple of pointers on that sort of thing. So you've got to consider what you need to do in order to wager the bonus. I mean, if you're talking about having to qualify for a bonus, so you've got to wager a certain amount of money over before you actually get the bonus, then what we would recommend for that would be to look at doing minimum amounts of spins, minimum value of spins, I should say. So, for example, if it's a 25 pence slot, a 25 line slot, then we would do 1p stakes, and over the 25 lines, that would be 25p spins in order to qualify. Because what we're trying to do is ride out the initial variance. Because if we go on a long losing run, then obviously spinning at much smaller values, then we're going to lose a lot less, particularly if we're playing with our own money. When we've got the bonus in play, then we can be a bit more aggressive, and that's sort of the next stage that we would then move on to. But in order, if you're playing with your own money to qualify for something, then you want to reduce the options down. I'd always play with maximum lines because that gives you the most chance of a win, but then we use minimum stakes in order to reduce the variance. So after we've, say, turned out £100 over once, we then qualify for the bonus, that sort of thing. And the idea is to lose as little as possible before we actually get the bonus in play. Once we have got the bonus, and like I say, we would look to be a bit more aggressive. There's no point trying to spin £3,500 at 25p a spin, unless you've got an absolute lifetime to sort of kill. You don't want to go brain dead by the time you've actually finished it, and also just, again, you've got to put a value on your time for what you're going to get back out of it. Likewise, there's the opportunity to hit anything decent is vastly reduced. What I prefer to do is then up the stakes a little bit. I mean, it may be £1, £2, possibly even £5. And what we look to do is try and hit some big wins early on in the session. If we then hit the big wins, then we can utilise perhaps a method whereby we can grind the rest of the wagering requirement out. So the rest of the wagering might be done, it might be a slot with actually autoplay. You can actually install sort of clicker software onto your PC or your Mac or whatever you're using, which will actually press the buttons for you. The only problem with that is if you hit a bonus round, the screen requirements change and you still get sort of locked in. So you've got to be prepared for the fact whatever you're wagering, that is the length of time it's going to take to complete that particular offer. But again, with a lot of times, you don't have to do it all in one session. You can spend an hour or two on it and then go back and revisit it later in the day or the next day or whenever you've got time in order to play it. So really, yeah, that's part of the reason why I do like to use higher stakes, because again, if you're going to bust out early on, it's all done and dusted. Okay, a bit frustrating because you've lost the bonus, but you haven't wasted too much time on it. You can move on and look for the next particular offer, as opposed to spending hours and hours and it's slowly sort of grinding towards a slow, painful death as your bonus just gets chipped away, and eventually you bust out and you've wasted a large amount of time on it, which is sort of doubly frustrating because of the fact you've lost the bonus again anyway, and it's just taking you a lot longer to get to that stage. Fair enough if you make a big spin, hit a big win, and then you've got a large buffer to actually play with. But again, go back to the calculation, see what you're faced with on the particular slot in order to see your expected value over the duration, and try and tie that up with the value that you put actually on your own time in order to play out the particular offer. I mean, in terms of slots you actually use, then again, it's a lot of it is personal preference. Some people love slots that other people hate, and vice versa. Everyone sort of has their own particular favourites, perhaps based on whether they've had success in the past or whatever. As a general, I mean, again, it obviously varies depending on which casino or which online bookmaker you're actually playing at, because they all have their own branded slots or their own gaming platforms which will only have certain slots on it. But for qualifying in the past, then I've looked at sort of for slots to get you qualified at a low variance slots. I would look at, say, something like the Frankie Dettori slot, which is always quite a low variance one. Maybe something like Jackhammer. Again, these may or may not mean anything to you depending how familiar you are with casinos. Bloodsuckers is also quite a good one as well. Again, playing all these on sort of minimum stakes, maximum line, minimum stakes in order to qualify for the bonus. Bit of an old school one as well, Thunderstruck, which was on the micro gaming platform as well. That's quite a good one. That's very fast play. That's even got an autoplay facility built within it, which will actually play the bonus rounds for you as well. So if you've got a large amount to grind out, or you've got a large wagering requirement to qualify, that's a very good one to use, because you can just literally set it up, disappear, and come back and see where you're at. In terms of slots, I would use, perhaps if I've already got the bonus and I'm trying to make make a profit or make a quick hit, then Loaded, again on a micro gaming platform, has been quite good for me in the past, but that's sort of a bit of an old school one. Some of the Marvel jackpot ones, they work quite well as well. Again, not everyone's cup of tea, but I've done quite well, particularly on the Fantastic Four and the Incredible Hulk slot as well, and the Iron Man 2 as well. They've got some very good bonus rounds. If you hit any of those, then you can really get into some serious profits there. Bingo type slots, which you'd see, say, on a lot of the bookmaker sites as well. Clover rollover is my preferred one for cashing out bonuses with big potential for jackpots, and we've hit some good winners on that. The qualification on those, always look at Dynamite Digger. Again, people who follow us regularly will see I go on about that all the time, but such a low variance slot to qualify for any of these sort of bingo slots or gaming offers where you need to turn over a certain amount to get the bonus. And then a couple of new ones which have cropped up, and we've come across this when we've actually been doing the Mr. Green offers, and these have been really good for that. And again, if you want, these are really hot at the moment, so if you want some more information, info@bet72.com, and I'll give you more information about that. But Guns N' Roses and Cleopatra Plus, which is a new one that's just been out, that's been working really well. We've got some good feedback again from some of our other members and a couple of other people I know who do a lot of these offers regularly, so they're very hot slots at the moment. Mr. Green is a very good one to get on board. Again, if you want some more information on that, drop me a line. I'll send it through. So really, that's really all I wanted to say about the sort of setup for slot strategies. I mean, there's a whole vast subject in its own right, and maybe we can tee up a couple of offers and run through them. Again, just give me feedback below this video, what you want to see. If you want to see some demos of perhaps some of these spins in action or some of these strategies in action, then whatever. We're going to follow this up again, like I say, with a series of videos just covering any questions that people have got. But we're on to doing daily videos now anyway, so it's not a problem just to knock out a quick 10-15 minute video just to explain some strategies that you particularly want to see. But got any questions, anything else, drop them in the box or info@bet72.com. Be delighted to answer them. And yeah, happy spinning. And if you do hit any big wins, take some screenshots, because we've got a big announcement coming up very shortly before Christmas, something new that we're looking to do. So again, if you hit any big wins, do take some screenshots, because it could well be worth your while. So I'll speak to you again soon and more about that new exciting development later. Cheers. Okay, bye bye.